We said yes to science. We said yes to vaccines. We said yes to ending this pandemic. We said yes to people's right to vote without fear of fake fraud or voter suppression. We said yes to women's fundamental constitutional right to decide for herself what she does with her body, her fate and future. We said yes to diversity. We said yes to inclusion.
We'll get to the fraud in a second, but who likes that guy? You know what I mean? He's such a slimeball. He's just a quintessential slimeball used salesman politician. I don't get it. How could anyone fall for that? The fact that I live in a state, I happen to live in this state, where there are so many, I'm surrounded by so many people who are either shockingly ignorant to everything around them or have a worldview that is so antithetical to yours and mine. It is incredibly discouraging, to say the least. California is hopeless. It's hopeless. California is hopeless. It's gone. Let's take a minute here, because this is just kind of fascinating, about a quick little history lesson of California. There's a reason that dream is only connected with one state, right? There's no, no offense, but there's no Oklahoma dream or something, right? The first Americans who settled here, there were some Mexicans here, not many, but there were some. And the Mexicans called these explorers, these first explorers and settlers in California, they called them osos. Look at these osos. That's Spanish for bears. And I reckon it's because they probably didn't shave forever on their exploration here. So they looked like bears. William B. Ide was the leader of what was known as the Bear Flag Revolt. And that's when that's William B. Ide right there, looking like a bear. And that's when he and his guys made this flag. That's the flag or the beginning of the flag of California. We still have a bear on it today. It's an oso on it. And William B. Ide issued a proclamation. It was in 1846. And this is the beginning of California. He said, "We invite all peaceable and good citizens to assist us in establishing and perpetuating a Republican government which shall secure to all civil and religious liberty." Now, let me just be clear. This is essentially California's Declaration of Independence. This is California's Declaration of Independence. 1846, Bear Flag Revolt. Come on, everyone. If you're game for this, come join us in the fight. Okay, so what does this government do? This government shall secure religious liberty. Has Gavin Newsom secured religious liberty? No, he shut down churches. LA County threatened to shut off the water and electricity at Grace Community Church, that's John MacArthur's church in LA. They ended up losing their court battle, actually, and it ended up paying Grace Community Church $400,000 in fines and legal fees. But the point is, has the governor secured religious liberty in California? That's one of our founding principles in California. Has the governor done that? Of course not. He's done things that no one's ever done, ever. He shut down churches for 2 years. Okay, what else? The state shall detect and punish crime. What a joke. Do we even need to go over that? Detecting and punish crime in California? We're passing laws that make committing crimes legal. We're making things legal. Let me tell you this one. This is my favorite one. The mayor of San Diego, right? The mayor of San Diego, when he was state rep, just before he became mayor, I don't know if it was his first bill, but it was one of his most prominent bills. He made it legal to knowingly and willingly transmit AIDS to people. Okay? Usually when people talk about legalizing crime in California, you end up talking about Walgreens and theft and robbery and stuff like oh, you can go in and you can just steal you can steal up to $950 worth of stuff and you just get a misdemeanor or slap on the wrist, no big deal, right? Yeah, that's a big deal. It's a problem. Our mayor in San Diego made it legal in California to knowingly and willingly transmit AIDS. And the claim was that law was homophobic. What? Okay, anyway. So yeah, we're detecting and punishing crime, sure. The state shall encourage industry, virtue, and literature. Well, it's education, right? Our schools are always in the bottom the entire country. And finally, the state shall leave unshackled by fetters. It's like the ball and chain. Agriculture, or commerce, agriculture, and mechanism. So is the governor of California leaving unshackled business, farmers, and manufacturing in California? No, there's no place in the country where they have more chains than here in California. Back to education, Larry Elder comes in, calls for school choice, which, by the way, a majority of minorities support. He comes in, calls for school choice, and he gets called an Uncle Tom and the black face of white supremacy and the model minority slave to the white man. And that was all by the LA Times. There'll never be a better chance to have school choice in California and to stick it to the unions and have school choice. And it's not going to happen. The people of California said, no, we're fine with the failing schools we have today, thank you. And by the way, let's have in ethnic studies. Let's not have grades anymore. Let's teach little Johnny that he's gay in kindergarten. Let's talk about transgenderism to kindergartners. Let's just keep going down this ridiculous road that we're on. It's great. It's so bizarre. Anyway, one last thing he said, William B. Ide in 1846. He said he further declares, if the man, like whoever comes and visits, or whoever comes and fights for us for the Bear Flag Revolt, further declares that he relies upon the favor of heaven by the love of truth and the hatred of tyranny for the hope of success, and that its citizens are the guardians, its officers are the servants, and its glory, and their glory is their sweet reward. And yesterday, the people of California had an opportunity to achieve the glory of their reward. All right, a day that the Osos could hoist a new bear flag into the sky and rebuke those racist Democrats, by the way, who for some reason don't want a black man to be governor. Ugh. Instead, they want their rich trust fund white man to deny a job of a black man. I've never seen anything so unwoke and racist as that. So we had the opportunity to stop the Klan members that are in Sacramento and recall Gavin Newsom and mark September 14th, 2021 as the new Bear Flag Revolt, and instead we got crushed. Did I mention someone voted for me? Did I tell you that? It's exciting. It's a great system we have here in California. You don't have to show ID, of course. You don't have to show ID. That's absurd. So you go, and I said, hey, I'm Mike Slater. I'd like to vote. And they said, you already voted. Super. So I filled out a provisional ballot, like I said, but I forgot to say this earlier. When you fill out a provisional ballot, you put your name, you put your address, and you know what else they ask you for in the provisional ballot? Gosh, golly gee willikers, wouldn't you know it? They ask for your driver's license number. Crazy. It's right there, driver's license number. There's a whole, so you got to put your driver's license, for a provisional ballot, you got to put your driver's license number there. So, you know, they can tell who you are. They also do a little Mike Slater trivia. They even ask you what city and state you were born in. Wow, it's almost like a poll test or something. It's crazy. If only, and this is a wild idea, if only they did that in the beginning, then it wouldn't be necessary. Because no one would have been able to vote for me in the first place. All right, I'll end on this quote because this is one of my favorites. And this one gave me hope throughout the recall, but there's no hope left. The LA County Sheriff, who's a Democrat, but he's conservative. LA County Sheriff, he said, nothing will change your political viewpoint more than a transient taking a dump in your front yard. Nothing will change your political viewpoint more than a transient taking a blank in your dump yard. Never a truer statement had been uttered. But even that wasn't enough. A vast majority of Californians live in this state. It's a sinking ship. And they said, yeah, this is fine. Amazing. All right, we'll change topics coming up next.
Wow, that was deep and insightful. I want more of that. Like,
Subscribe. Get more.